What it do, my love bugs? It's me, your girl, Empress Goddess, the Georgia Peach, your host with the most. Let's get in here, my girl, Green Eyes, perfectly imperfect hero. Y'all know what to do.
Capricorn, thank you for tuning in to Perfectly Imperfect Tarot. This is Green Eyes here to give you a reading, my love. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, Martian, astronaut, pick a node. It does not matter to me. I love you all. Cross watchers, I am a snitch. I'm telling you now. Please don't curse me in the comments. Love you too. Capricorn, if you found the message or the message found you, it's because there's something in here for you, love, or a seed to be planted for tomorrow. No gender or age, only energy. You're going to hear me use terms he, she, her, him, they, them, it, pepper, pay it, no mind, okay? Feel the energy. Remember, roles can always be reversed. Caps, I thank you. Like, share, subscribe, emails, comments, love tokens, and donations. Thank you for your support, my loves of the channel. Yes, yes. All right, let me tell you how y'all got me in here running around like a damn fool. And it took me a minute to realize, because I had called in your energy, sat down, and then got up and realized I didn't realize I was in your energy. So basically, I think what you guys are dealing with right now is scatterbrain. You know what I'm saying? You're all over the place. And it's getting on your nerves because you're, how can I say that? You have things that's going on that require detailed attention. And it's hard to focus. You understand? Because you're, it's not like your plate is full and you can't handle what you have to do. It's just that literally there's some type of step by step kind of requirement here of your attention. Like an accountant, it's tedious. You know what I'm saying? Step by step. So I'm going to need you to kind of relook at some things because you're moving fast, you're scatterbrained, and you will find probably two errors. All right. Something you didn't put somewhere, something you wrote something wrong, or, you know, whatever the case is. It's not major, you know, but you got to kind of slow down and try to reground, refocus, because the energy right now is very chaotic. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're pulling from the Akashic Tarot for your oracle message today. Capricorn, please and thank you. I have the Four of Forces. Now, this is spring over autumn, Three of Forces at the bottom. So a lot of like energy, the natural law of energy. You understand that it's just, like I said, it's chaotic. It's a lot of energy. You might be getting like heavy downloads and be like, who, what, where, why, how, you know? Forces are energy, natural law of things for this deck, okay? So if this was, let's say, if this was, it would be like Four of Wands, you know, spring, autumn at the same time, like a nice spring day. Everything is great. Everything is great. The bird's nest is coming in. You're expecting things to get greater. You know, the storm has passed for you. You're in an energy of, okay, my life is now starting to come together, but it's still requiring some kind of attention to detail. Okay. Archangel, Michael coming in to assist you with any strength that you might need with this edification in your gifts. Okay. Will, wisdom, and mind. That's a lot of kind of power, spiritual energy. Your intuition might be picking up. Yeah, with the King of Scrolls on business. Lots and lots of business here. I ain't lying. It's like your life is good, but business is busy. You know what I mean? Life is good. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining. But it's like, damn, I'm like super, super, super busy. I have to do this. I got to do that. I got to plan for that. And then tomorrow, I got to this. You know, it's kind of like that energy. So breathe, my love. Don't forget to enjoy the fruits of your labor, okay? Let's go into your spread a little bit. Yeah. Let's do the animals. because I'm liking this kind of outside energy for you. Maybe you should try to get out. If you feel like you've been cooped up in the house or in the office or at work, maybe have some lunch outside, or take a walk on your break. Just get some fresh air. If you're cooped up in the house, go to the door, open a window, get some fresh air. All right. Capricorn energy, please and thank you. Capricorn energy, please and thank you. Queen of Pentacles, I love it. Six of Cups, I love it. Like I said, everything is really pretty good. You're planning, you're preparing. But the mom, she, damn, did I just snorkel? I did. I'm sorry. Allergies. I just heard it. I didn't even realize it. I heard it myself. Forgive me. All right. Queen of Pentacles, she's a planner. The mom, prepares the meals, prepares the clothes, prepares the vacations. It's like that kind of energy. Six of Cups is emotional balance and fulfillment. I love it. It's forward moving. Wheel of Fortune coming in. Like I said, business-wise, things are definitely picking up. It's a great, great energy. I just want you to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Crown this energy, please, for Capricorn. Please and thank you without the snorkel. Crowning. Two of Pentacles, busy, 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 and the King of Wands. You got to focus. See, that's that juggling. The King of Wands, focus, 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 focus. Focus on, one thing at a time. Sometimes you got to do one thing at a time while you're doing 10 things at a time. At least do one thing. You with me? The king is definitely passionate. He's focused on this future. He's moving forward. The great thing about the king is that he's, of course, marriage material from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet, but he takes a mate by choice. He don't need a mother lover. He don't need his queen. And the Queen of Wands is the same way, but this is the masculine of that energy. So that's kind of what you're just really powerful and focused in what you're doing. Six of Swords. You're staying away from drama, foolishness. Six of Swords talks about leaving the storm, finding peace. And your peace right now is like just to stay busy. That's how you're keeping your peace, to stay busy. All right. Let's see. What's working against Capricorn right now? What's in the way? What's working against Capricorn? All right. And I have a Queen of Swords and I'm going to leave her sideways. I'm sorry. I have a Queen of Wands and I'm going to leave her sideways. Now, I just talked to you about the king. And here she goes. Now, when the Queen of Wands works against you, okay, it affects confidence, focus, passion, belief in yourself, completion, the ability to win, things like that, because that's how she feels about herself. The reason why I left this sideways is because I don't think it's more a problem of your confidence. I think it's a problem of completion. I think you're just really, really, really busy, and your busyness is supposed to be busy, but it should be done with quality. You know what I mean? You definitely want to produce quality work. All right. And you want to know that what you're doing is absolutely the best of the best of the best of this new beginning. Page of Pentacles, this new business venture, new idea, whatever it is that you're working on. You want to go in with your whole chest out. Your whole chest. You know what I mean? And if you're a little, you're trying to like over plan to make sure everything works out right, don't do that. Just know that it's going to work out right because you put your hands on it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to know you got to know what you bring to the table, and you have to have that confidence and that energy when you put your hands on something. Okay. Where's this coming from? What brought this on for Capricorn? Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Okay, past energy. I have a King of Cups. Ooh, look at you. I think I remember talking to you about this. Matter of fact, past energy, that you pulled back love from somebody. you pulled back energy from somebody and you started applying it to yourself, your life, your business, your home, things like that. And that's what that King of Cups in the past is. He's very emotionally controlled. He knows how to distribute love when he feels like it and when he feels like it's deserved, you know. Now, this is the king of emotions. He's the king of love. So he's full of love from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. However, he will walk by his queen and say, I don't know that heifer. I ain't never seen her a day in my life, because he has that much control over his emotions. Okay. So that's what you did in the past to get you to the where you are. So you got the control, and now God has given you passion and focus, but you got to pull down from that energy and apply it to what you're working on right now in this queen energy, because that's you operating in queen. But the universe is giving you this fire to assist you with your focus, because that's what's working against you, the fire, not having control of that fire. You with me? All right. Future energy, please, for Capricorn. Where are we going with this? Please and thank you. Hello. Growth. Look at the Hierophant, Taurian energy. Growth, edification. Woo. I love it. I love it. And a Ten of Swords. Yeah, it is what it is. All right. Let's talk about this growth. Terrifying energy, Hierophant energy, Taurian energy. God, see, y'all got me like this. This is this is your shit. This ain't me. I can't wait to finish this damn reading, because I feel like shit. Slow down. I need you to slow down so I can slow down. Okay. But anyway, Hierophant energy, Taurian energy, definitely an energy of wisdom, of growth. Okay. This is leveled energy here with that Hierophant, because you're taking this up a notch. Now, the reason why I said here we go is this Ten of Swords. This Ten of Swords applies to whatever you pulled your energy back from, because whoever you pulled your energy back from, be it a company, like you left one company, started your own business, or you stopped dealing with somebody, started working on yourself, whatever the case was, they feel betrayed. Okay. But you're starting out on a new beginning with this Fool energy. See, you took a leap of faith and you gambled on your mother loving self. You say, I'm gonna roll the dice and I'm betting on Capricorn. Boom. And I love that. Fool energy, that's the leap of faith. You believe in some way, shape, or form that no matter what life has done to you, Nine of Wands here, that you're still worthy, you're still worth it, you still have something, you still bring something. All of that is protection of your peace, your sanity, what little peace of mind we got left. I mean, I'm just saying, we talking here, you know. Yeah, you're protecting that. You're saying, no, I gave you all of that. I've been fighting for too long. This is what I'm left with. So I'm holding on to this right here. Okay. And somebody has regrets of doing you dirty with that Five of Cups, or you regret wasting so much time on something that you knew wasn't going to produce. But you had a hard talk with yourself with the King of Swords, or somebody had a hard talk with you. Okay. The King of Swords is a very intellectual energy. It's a hard conversation. It's a hard truth. You know, his sword is sharper than a mother lover. I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather the queen cut me than the king cut me. The king cut you, you're gonna cry. But it's still for your benefit. You know, he's still a teacher. But man, it hurt like a motherfucker. Oh, excuse me. God darn it, the F-bomb. I gotta stop. Mother lover, mother lover, mother lover. See, that's caps. I gotta get out your energy. Anyway. Lover's energy coming in, Gemini energy, okay? So you're either calling in your true mate or you're getting on your divine path, one or the other with that lover's energy. There's no wrong turn there, okay? You're starting new, Page of Pentacles, all right? And you're fighting for your right to party with the Seven of Wands. It's like no matter who said what, when, why, or how, or even how I denied myself in the past, I know at least this much, you know, I know at least this much, okay? And you're using that to claim victory with the Six of Wands, because of the confusion that you had with the Seven of Cups, all of a sudden stopped and turned around with this Tower when you realized you wanted full emotional fulfillment and you were tired of little nooks and crannies and breadcrumbs throughout the duration of the years that you had applied to before. You understand what I'm saying? So with this boomstick energy, come on now. This is a unga bunga energy right here. Boomstick, poom poom stick. This is power right here coming in with this fire. But in order for you to even be able to handle this divine fire, you got to first master the king and queen. You got to get this together first, because when you get this, that means no holds barred. This is fertile energy. It bursts life-changing events. It's very creative, very strong fire energy, and it's going to be applied. See that energy to your manifestation. Magician coming in right behind it. That means that this unga bunga stick is not going to secure and not only secure and confirm for you, but it's also going to elevate your manifestations. But by the time you get to the magician, you got to know exactly what you're working with, exactly what you want, exactly where you're going, who you're going with, and who can't go. You understand what I'm saying? Because you've been hurt before. You've been hurt. So definitely you want to try to, because that's all we can do is try not to have the same damn pain. Okay, give me a different lesson. I don't want to keep learning the same shit over and over and over again. You feel me? All right. So that understanding that takes a part of your journey, hermit energy. Okay, that's going within, really understanding. When you look to the past, okay, you're looking to the past right here. Now it's like, okay, I see why that happened. Okay, I see how that happened. Yeah, I see how I did that too. Yeah, I did that. Yep, I did. But I didn't do that. Now, wait a minute. That happened to me. That wasn't my fault. Okay, yeah, you're right. I saw that. Yeah, I did see it coming though. I can't deny that part. You know, it's that's a hermit energy. It's grown. You know, it's grown. It's not just having the knowledge, it's applying the knowledge, you know, which creates the wisdom. Oh, my ding dong. Why am I feeling y'all like this today? God darn. Whoa. You have had horrible people in your life. Caps, I love you. We talking. You have had horrible people in your life. And I'm talking about your blood too. I don't care, because we talking. You've had horrible people. You have been in the center of so much foolishness, so much jealousy, so much vindictive, malicious energy. Okay? Smells like Taurus, Gemini. There's another Capricorn here. I ain't gonna lie. God darn. Horrible. But you're still the star. You're still the star. Look at that Aquarian energy. That's balance, limelight, favor, you know, coming in from the most high, just for you. Ooh, God darn. Let me get out your energy. That's enough for today. I can't do this. Y'all got me all over the place. I feel like I didn't have the dead going power drink. I hate them damn things. Got my heart pumping. Woo! All right, Caps. I need you to focus this energy. And if you focus the energy that you're receiving, you will be so much more productive. And what it'll do is help you with those little mistakes that you're, like I said, little details. Like, I don't know, you put the laundry detergent in the refrigerator because you're moving too fast. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you ever have, y'all know you got days like that. I ain't even gonna ask you if you ever have them, because I know you have. But things like that, okay? Let's breathe and focus. You're being blessed with a lot of passion and power right now to apply towards your goals, your dreams. All right, they're definitely coming to fruition. So we have to focus this energy, because you're not going to have it forever. You know, nobody can stay in this kind of fire except the fire sign, because we can't handle it. I'm an air sign, believe me. I can't. I can hold on to that stick for a while, and after a while, it burns me out. You know, same thing with the earth. Okay, so enjoy the fire, use it wisely, try to life.
Welcome to Spiritual Studies Session 61. This session is focusing on contextualizing, giving an understanding, giving an introduction to the subject of alchemy. The philosophy of the Spiritual Studies course is married to the history of ideas, the history of thought, and comparative religion. Alchemy is a strange topic in the way that it weaves between spiritual traditions. It is an anomalous entry upon the list of what could be considered a spiritual tradition. However, we can't talk about certain secret societies, about certain subjects and leads without it inevitably tying back into alchemy. So what is that word as an opener to the subject? Alchemy, alchemia, which is chemia, which is al, meaning the, kimya, which is the black magic. Now, don't let that get too dramatic now, because keme, or kim, is Egyptian for the black earth, the fertile soil that would wash up from the flooding of the Nile, that would give life to all the agriculture that would grow, and subsequently all the life to the people that benefit from said agriculture. The black is the blackness of the soil. So saying black magic has obviously been quite misunderstood, as the meaning of that idiosyncratic nomenclature has changed through time. This is understood as an ancient art that seeks purification of the soul, immortality in a certain misunderstanding of the word, transmutation of chemical elements, where gold is an allegory for perfection. This, of course, as many would know, exoterically be understood that alchemists were purely interested in gold, literally gold, like the Spanish inquisitors, conquering, colonizing areas to seek gold, riches. Worthy of stating once more, and as the subject goes forward, gold symbolizes perfection to the Western world and extending outward. So alchemists have been accredited in the early, with the early creation of chemistry. However, we cannot mention this subject without also having to mention how it made pharmaceuticals, medicines, and how this was equally a basis for alchemy. Also, metallurgy, of course, undermentioned, but chemistry, chemie, as it would derive into, is obviously the most obvious of them. All of this is saying something about understanding the materiality of the world, which is where we can get into where things turn real soupy, trippy, spiritual, because what is the material world will become our leading question. So this act of turning lead into gold symbolizes this spiritual transformation or transmutation from taking one thing and making it other. A great allegory for this is that you have a lump of coal and you have a diamond. Chemically, they are the same. Or I should say its components are the same. So what's the difference? The difference is what has been applied to, what has been made out of the same material, carbon. So in this way, you as a person, and this is the mind that we need to start entering, you as a person want to mature, want to improve, want to lessen the suffering of this world unto yourself. How can you make the coal that is you into a diamond? The inner transformation of what you could do to speed up the recipe of your creation. So this concern was rooted in the spiritual, and all the physical things were a representation of this spiritual transformation. To pull off one of the great works was viewed as an affirmation of your ascension. Say you've been working at trying to create a particular recipe, a particular make of something. You get the intuition, you get the leads, you focus and focus and focus. You go through all of this work. Alchemists were also obsessed with the right time and the right place. You needed seasons, thus the tie-in with astrology. So you needed the right time to get the right weather, To get the right substances, you had to know the right time. And also, you would have to be consistent. You would have to show up. You'd have to go through the operations, the processes. And you've tried for years and years and years to get this particular substance that you're working towards, and you finally do. You see it. What a grateful thing it would be to literally see, to have something tangible that would represent your own internal improvement. The universe, God, what have you, reciprocating you, giving you this sign. Beautiful. Not so often when we have transcendent experiences within ourselves that we have something so tangible to point to. Anyhow, this inspired a vision to become perfect, to wave off all manner of limitations, diseases, mentally, physically, spiritually, and this fundamental idea that is at the root of religion, that is that we are impure. If you go to the Gnosticism talk, you'll find that this was all about how to achieve gnosis. How to achieve gnosis was how to supersede the prison, the impurity of the material existence, which this, in truth, is not far from Christianity as well. We have sinned. How, if ever, can we escape from this body of sin? And likewise with samsara, likewise with, the grievous cycle. This idea of how to escape plays perfectly into what the alchemists aspire to do. Not to all of them, but to the great majority, I should say. How can I make myself pure? You are the thing to make pure. How to do this is a whole nother discussion. How to become one with the divine mind, how to achieve perfection, beauty, and harmony. And I want to point this out before I forget. These ideas of this kind of deus ex machina, this miraculous substance that could give a person a kind of supernatural power or ability, right? Like, it's no wonder that Columbus and these conquistadors were looking for, say, the fountain of youth. When you have mythic stories like Excalibur, when you have mythic substances like mana or the Ark of the Covenant, if you were this spiritual and taking these stories so literally, then it's not a hard bet to see why people were looking for these things. And also the question is, what can we do with this matter? What is matter? And the question there is an ontological question. What is stuff made of? What can it do? What are we? What is this? And this other more very human thing where it's like, what can we take and can we improve it? Right? Can we do it better, or can we make it serve our own purposes? If you take grapes, right, then you can make it into wine. If you take the stalks from the fields, you can make it into bread. Our very existence is all about transmutation. We transmute everything. I'm speaking through a microphone. How many things needed to be transmuted to make this act possible? To create a knife is an act of transmutation. To sharpen it, to procure it, to give it a wield. All of these things are transmuting, augmenting materials into a particular make. So the question is, how far can we do this? It's also an epistemological question. What would we have to do to know? Which is a great experiment. A great experiment. So where can we trace this story? And of course, it goes back to our reference of the black soil, back to Egypt. And of course, the name comes up, Hermes Trismegistus, thought to be the progenitor of alchemy, which is a shifty claim, but is a good starting point. This alleged person figure, which we talked about this, before in the course, was around 2000 BC, 1900 BC, created many written works on papyri, many of which were destroyed by Emperor Diocletian in the early 3rd century AD. However, what survives most notably is the Divine Pymander, the Asclepian Dialogues, and the Tabula Smaragdina, which is the Emerald Tablet. So these would seem to indicate a leaning towards alchemy, especially in the way of Hermeticism, which, again, we can't talk about secret societies without mentioning Hermeticism. Hermeticism is tied in with alchemy. Alchemy, as it's tied in by extension in all these secret societies to Kabbalah, or, as it's practiced with the Freemasons. The Masons are crafters. Anyhow, there is also another document, the Leiden Papyrus, that is now in a Dutch museum, that is one of the earliest known cases of what could be considered chemistry. That's something to look into for your own research if you want to. Leiden, Leiden, papyrus. So in this discussion of what is stuff, because this seems to be the inciting question that puts us down the road of alchemy, what is stuff, which was the preoccupation of the earliest documented, recorded philosophers, the pre-Socratics. So Thales of Miletus believed that the prima materia, the material that was before all things, was water. Axiomenes believed that it was air. Heraclitus said that it was fire. And that's kind of a misnomer, because fire and flux is the ebb and flow, which is, again, a more hermetic reference. But of course, here comes the most important one for our discussion, Aristotle, saying that the 4 terrestrial elements were co-equally basic, and that there was a 5th substance, which had been mentioned before in history, but is mostly coined here by Aristotle, which is the aforementioned many times in the course, ether. The ether, the quintessence, the 5th element, the prima materia, which has many interpretations, and that word has been used many different ways, adding to the confusion of this conversation. So here's the question. Here is more like the belief, the fundamental leap. The leap is that we know, right? We're placing a bet that there is an achievable prima materia, and that this prima materia, this substance that is the ancestor to all substances, is, for one, again, achievable, believable, and capable of miraculousness, basically, right? Like, to be able to find that, to make it, or to restore it, because the idea is that it's latent in all substances and all elements. It's in there. So how can we distill it, provided that it's there, right? And that's the alleged philosopher's stone, which stone isn't a great way to put it, but if it could be had, this thing beyond all things, this thing that unifies all things, what would that mean? And so going off this Aristotelian philosophical system, here we go. And this is where alchemy really takes the shoot, where from the Western end, which we're going to talk about beyond the Western end. So there are many ideas that are really interesting in this matter theory, that the earth kind of fruits these minerals, it grows them, which one of which is gold. It creates it in time, it's a natural budding of the earth, which is pretty beautiful, poetic. So the alchemist would then ask, can we speed this up? If we could make the gestation period shorter, and if metals could be procured through manual means. And so the question here, and this could seem selfish, right, for riches or for whatever, but it is an earnest question. Can it be done? It doesn't have to be greedy to ask that question. And also, it has this subsequent subliminal thing about letting us know what we can and can't do. But this act of working with metals obviously goes back into the Bronze Age, right? And the Greeks were smelting copper in at least 2200 BCE. And so, you had jewelers and you had lapidary work long into the ancient past. This is not solely derivative of alchemy. However, it is the tie with alchemy, right? But like I also mentioned, in whatever acts, making dyes, making certain substances from crushing shells, harvesting certain minerals for uses in making paints. I mean, or discovering that urine could be used as a mordant for clothes to dye them with. These are all just the scientific method, so to speak, messing around and find it out. So this is part of this experimentation, and we as a human society have always been doing it. But as soon as we get this spiritual twang about us messing with things, this specific act of messing with things for the spiritual aim or to achieve the prima materia, that's when we call it alchemy. So in China, there is Cheng Taoling, which is noted as the first Taoist pope. And this is just after AD, said to have been born in 35 AD. And this specific pope, which is such a weird way of putting it, Taoist pope, stepped away from ruling in just about every respect, declined all services to the people, and just studied what we are calling alchemy and meditation and purity. And of course, we can't talk about Taoism without talking about the alleged alchemical works of Lao Tzu, which is this, there have been many supernatural claims given to Lao Tzu, the creator of Taoism, for those that aren't in the know. And there are all these mentions too, on this side of the world, the elixir of life, which in some instances it would seem to grant immortality, but in other instances it is a substance and a hypothesized, a proposed substance that will extend your life and extend your youth, will basically nerf aging. And so it's not too far off from this fountain of youth kind of take that this sort of thing exists. An interesting note here is that the Taoists have a fivefold matter theory. So they have a different matter theory than the Western world. The Western world does have five, kind of, but they are not the exact five of the Taoist and the Eastern alchemy and elemental understanding. But that's not my job to get into just specifically talking about matter theory today. We're talking about the history of this and the ideas. So the practical application of alchemy, more noted in pharmaceutical and works of medicine. And this started with the idea of creating an exterior material. So to mix gold, to mix cinnabar, which is mercury sulfite, to mix jade, to mix it with herbs, to mess with these things. And in the idea that some substances are very yang, masculine, and some substances are very yin. So if you have a body that is full of a lot of yang, naturally you have made it full of a lot of yang energy, then the idea was to throw a heavy yin energy into your body via consumption, and that this would shoot you up. That this would, if you could achieve equilibrium with that other radical, then you would become transmuted. And you had to try it. You had to try it. And of course, in reflection, this seems silly, right? Because you're consuming heavy metals and mercury. I mean, this is how we learned that that's not a good idea. So this was fatal. And for reasons why it was fatal was a matter of speculation at the time. However, some things to note before we move on from the Eastern world in this respect, or specifically from China, is that eventually this Weitan, Waitan art, was replaced by Natan, Naitan, finding the inner elixir versus the outer elixir. This happened around the 6th century. So then comes what we recognize as more meditative, more soul mindfulness seeking methods in the religious spiritual world. You know, but from this time of this exterior seeking, and from this time of the movement into interior seeking, we got the art of feng shui. We got the art of Weitan, of Natan, and most notably, the invention of gunpowder as something of a byproduct from this alchemical seeking. And the implication of that is obviously huge, right? The implication of going through this alchemical journey and discovering gunpowder, look what the West did with it. look what was made out of what was made. You see, something that started with a spiritual aspiration. So in India, we can see this influence from what can be called Indian alchemy into the Western world via the invasion of Alexander the Great circa 325 BC. So this would already have been an ensuing ideas of the Greek, Egyptian, mix mash alchemy. Now you're introducing the mix mash of Indian alchemy, which is coined as Rasayana, Rasayana. Rasa meaning nectar, perhaps, meaning juice, meaning mercury. Yana, art, path. Rasa can also mean essence, so this could be a translation meaning the path of essence. This could also be translated into its older form, proto-chemistry, or, you know, its other form, I should say, Rasanastra, or Rasa Astra, Astara, which is the science of mercury. Mercury, mind you, is a substance that is named directly after the deity. The attributes of that deity, Mercury. So that alone is a subject, could be a discourse of its own spiritual studies session. But this Rasayana seemed to mostly focus, again, on the restorative attributes, the messing with medicines, pharmaceuticals, drugs, what have you. And things like gold were in the mix. How to give youth back to the aging. And again, this is an attempt to alleviate suffering, right? And this goes back to the shamanic If you have been following the course this long, then you know that this is a part of the spiritual, religious history of humankind at its most core. How to relieve suffering, how to understand death. This is so strong in the study of alchemy. So they say that this Rasayana began around 1200 BC and extends out into Ayurvedic medicine, extending lifespan, working with what herbs do what. And still to this day, you still see people slanging, people selling, people buying, authentic herbology from the Eastern world for purposes of medicine. What do you turn to when Western medicine is letting you down? You turn to the East, which is this herbology, which has been formed from the spiritual pursuit that was this alchemy. So it works itself into lifestyle and dietary and supplemental use. And so it's not so much about seeking this great and elusive idea, very abstract idea of the prima materia. And it's not to say that they weren't seeking some sort of elixir that had some tremendous qualities, but it doesn't quite have that supernatural flair that the prima materia, the philosopher's stone, does. There's a very famous laboratory that was called the Rasashala, which is said to have had documents that, or did have documents that show a procedure that transmutes base metals into gold. So there was this equal traction in India as well, this idea, or this work, or trying your hand at this matter theory. Can this thing be done? And so it could be thought of as, here was something that was proposed across the ancient world that everybody's going to get their hands on, or this could be a natural question that was spontaneously erupting out of the human psyche during this time. And you can't talk about this conversation without talking about the Islamic world and the Islamic Golden Age. The concrescence, the collection of all of these things I've just discussed, what was happening in the Eastern world, what was happening in the Western world, the great works of Galen and Dioscorides, they all coming together in Jabir, or what is translated as Gerber, Geber, when it hits the Western world. Jabir is going to collect all of these different recipes that are going on, and he's going to put them together in the Al-Razi, with Al-Razi, alongside Al-Razi, and alongside, I don't want to get too lost in the names today, but you have over 800 compound recipes, simple and compound recipes in these collections from the Islamic Golden Age. So you have Al-Razi, you have the very mythic Jabir, you have this great collection that's coming out of the Islamic world. And during the 13th to the 16th centuries, Europe was very active in translating these works. And by no means does this exclude all the other things that are going on in the Islamic Golden Age. You have the natural philosophy growing, you have medicine growing, you have all works of astronomy growing, and what are great precursors to science, mathematics. It is a blossom, an absolute boom of the idea of human history. So when it comes to kind of the consolidation and the more concretion of what we call alchemy, it has to be in great thanks to the Islamic Golden Age. And the Crusades show up around, they began in 1096. And this act, much like Alexander the Great with India, is yet again mixing the pool ever more when it comes to what people know mutually about this subject, what things were being worked on by Jabir, and how it's being brought to Europe. Oh. So let's get back onto the Western world in a certain way. Albertus Magnus, Thomas Aquinas, these names would be very strong in trying to consolidate the inlatent pagan ideas, or pre-Christian ideas, and the growing need of Christianity to be validated. So how to marry the tenets of Christianity with the tenets of alchemy without it turning heretical. And so those are some strong names. How to take what Aristotelian theory was saying and make it Christian. And that was a big task for Albert and Aquinas. And so you have these many characters that pop up, because this is really where the height of alchemy is coming from, is during this time, after 1000 all the way to about 16,000, is where we're seeing the great number of works pop out. Before it's like, is this alchemy? Just playing, is this? But then at this point, this is what we're calling alchemy within the span of this rough 600 years. Hard-nosed Western alchemy. And Raymond Lully is a big name of this era, and who got ripped off quite a bit, because there are over 480 treatises that are given the name Raymond Lully. So it's been a pseudonym beyond Raymond Lully, it would seem. It almost would make it seem like a meme. Because if you didn't want your name attached to something, then it just became, okay, throw it to Raymond Lully, which is, that deserves its own storytelling right there. He had this in his lifetime too. You can see how much Christianity did really involve itself with the alchemical journey, because Raymond became absolutely affixed. Well, first he got his heart broken, and then he turned to religion, and then he became an alchemist, and then he used the rest of his life to travel all over the Islamic world and to basically refute the teachings of Muhammad. So you can see how at this point as well, Christianity is kind of putting a cap on the alchemical journey. Now, I don't want to spend too much time there. My big initiative right now is to give the historical context, and then we're going to talk about the ideas at the cap, okay, at the end. You have in 1350 you have John of Rupiskissa, who is trying to create a substance that prevents decay in the body. And this is, I'm kind of giving you a gag reel here. So he's looking for something that will preserve, right? And everything decays. Metals rust. If you let wine sit out, it turns into vinegar. However, if you can find the water of life, or the burning water, which is one of these great alchemical terms, if you can distill the purity of the essence out of wine and just get its essence, then you'll notice that it's preserving. And this is alcohol. Creates moonshine. And this is the seeking, right? This is messing around and finding out. And so if you put something in alcohol, it's preserved. Alcohol doesn't go bad if it's pure, right? And so this is truly miraculous, honestly. I mean, we know what moonshine can do to you now. But to think about that, you just came up with this thing, that you were betting, and this you discovered it, right? You came out with it. This, you thought, like, with the hype of this, like, ability of the substance, this was called the fifth essence, the quintessentia, or in other words, the quintessence, the finest, purest, and most concentrated essence of a thing. Moonshine, baby. So thank alchemy for that. You know, something that preserves sincerely. And think of the, you know, medical, again, that plays into the medical field, the beneficial attributes of alchemy, you know, cleansing wounds and killing bacteria. I mean, that again, in this time, in this context, was miraculous, magical. Who knows what we could do with this thing? And you just don't know. You don't know what you could do with these things. So now comes the era where things start to turn sour. And this was because you have like such great things that are coming up, and we'll talk about that later. You have such great things that are being discovered and such notable things that are being done. You know, humanity is high off of what can be done with the stuff. And now you have people who are attracted to this. It's power. It's power, and power will always corrupt. You know, you start off something with great intentions, and then it just gets too much, and everybody comes in, they ruin it. It's like Woodstock, or, you know, endless examples. I don't want to go down there. Anyway, so people would make good money out of claiming they were alchemists, out of claiming that they could do things, and then investors were all too ready to throw them a chunk of change for it, and then they just dip. So then people are like, I don't know about these alchemists anymore, because it seemed that it got overrun with charlatans, which is the easiest, simplest, and quickest way that I can put this era in history. So you do have sincere people who are sincerely on the alchemical journey. And then you have the charlatans, and they're gonna pee in the pool for everybody. And then you have, for instance, England and Christendom forbidding alchemy on the pain of death. Although the Pope, still during this time, who's making it illegal, you know, punished with the pain of death, is still studying alchemy inside the Vatican for means of enriching the church. Because again, and here's where the greed thing comes in. If you can procure gold, right? Genuinely, people believe you can transmute base metals into gold. That is riches for the church. So of course they're going to underhandedly be into it. I secretly want to do a whole spiritual studies session on just like these kinds of things about the church. I'd really love doing that. So even if you were the most sincere alchemist during this time, taking your own road, which here I want to take some time to talk about an idea right now. What is really unique about this is that although Christianity was trying to co-opt alchemy, you know, we do see several figures that are being co-opted by Christianity. There's another famous alchemist who was obsessed and made his journey all about trying to prevent the suffering of the ensuing apocalypse via alchemy. But in all sincerity, the alchemical journey, regardless of if it was aligned with Taoism, Indian Rasayana, you are alone. And what I mean by this is that this is an undertaking that you take alone. This doesn't have to do with any religion necessarily. This is a quest. Again, I want to bring it back to its initial idea because we can get lost in all this, you know. You want to achieve your soul. You want to know thyself. You want the pearl from the depths. You want to know what's going on, who you are. You want to achieve that. And you want to put honest work into that. And this is a method that holds promise and that doesn't rule over you, that you can take on the work if you have the conviction. And so the art of making alchemy so arcane and so undecipherable and so riddled with nomenclature and symbolism and very, very occult looking diagrams was an act of only the sincere, only the highest achieved, only those with the most gusto, right? Who are really the thing can get this, can see through all the deciphering, can put in the work to achieve the quintessence or whatever, the lion's blood, whatever. So I really feel like that needs to be known when it comes to anybody's impression on alchemy and this whole historical time. Because now in our timeline, you as a seeker, as a genuine seeker, will be put to death if you are found out. So we go more arcane, more and more arcane, more and more untranslatable.